The D and Davis Show.
D and Davis Show. We are back. We got a lot of stuff to get into. We definitely have to talk about the national championship game last night. SEC, baby. Real quick, before we introduce ourselves, who'd you have winning, Ryan?
LSU.
Who'd you have winning, D?
I didn't care.
You had Clemson win. I could see it all over your face.
I really did. It's not.
Do you think he had Clemson winning, Ryan?
It's not Miami.
I think D went, go Tigers.
Thank you. Which one?
That's my point.
I know.
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan. You read my mind.
Yeah.
It's not the Hurricanes. It's not the usual. I don't care.
It's not about care, but it's a lot of things we don't care about, but we pick the winners.
It didn't matter to me. And you all know that college doesn't tickle my fancy like that. Only team I really watch is when Miami is good. Now, honestly, I watch it.
He doesn't watch college football.
I watch it, but
Miami ain't been good in 20 years.
Hey,
He didn't have a
playoffs
pick?
like 2 years ago.
In the playoffs?
Yeah, it was in the playoffs.
I don't know if
It's been like 2 weeks.
They
weren't in the playoffs.
They were in the playoffs. Yes, they were. They were the number 4 seed. Yes, they were. Miami.
When? No, they weren't.
Oh my God, y'all.
They have not been that good.
Yes, dude, they were in the playoffs. The year the turnover chain became big. I'm telling you. As they're listening, I'm just go ahead and just tell you who I am. I'm the Mon Spruill. I'm D of this crew. D and Davis. Find us on Twitter at D and Davis Show. Once again, it's at D and Davis Show. Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/D and Davis Show. iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Music, Stitcher, the TuneIn app. We're on Anchor. We'll kick you over to Spotify, the YouTubes, and many other podcast platforms. I'm on Twitter at Demons1, DEMONZE1. Ken is on Twitter at ThatsDavis. Executive producer of the D and Davis Show and D and Davis The Flip. Well, Mr. Ryan Bukovetsky. Ryan's on Twitter at Ryan B. Ski. And on IG at Ryan B. Ski 1. I do remember stuff that I like. Well, I take that back. I forget about the stuff too. But I do know the Miami Hurricanes were in the playoffs. Matter of fact, I remember going on CLTV and throwing up the U with...
I don't see it.
What the hell, you two? Really?
That's what I got.
Are your Googles? Your Googles that bad?
I just did a word search on their wiki page for playoffs, and that is...
Oh, Lord. What is it called?
They weren't in the playoffs.
They were.
It's not a chance. They were not in the... They started off hot one year, and we told you to slow your roll.
No, dude, they made it to the playoffs.
And I make the Final Four, bro.
I got Alabama, Oregon, Florida State, Ohio State
How long
in
ago was
the
that?
inaugural season of 2014,
It wasn't 2014.
2015,
17.
2016, Clemson, Alabama, Michigan State, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Washington
What
in
year was that?
2016, 2017.
Okay. 17,
The following year, 17-18, Clemson, Oklahoma, Georgia, Alabama. Next year, Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, Notre Dame sandwiched between Clemson and Oklahoma. And then this past year, LSU, Ohio State, Clemson, and Oklahoma.
Hold the hell on.
Hold on.
I mean, it was in the playoffs.
They weren't.
Really? Who were they playing?
It don't matter. They weren't.
Oh, Lord.
He just wasted all this damn time on this.
Wait a minute. I thought that was a bowl. I thought that was a playoff. Officially known as the Capital One Bowl. Son of a...
There you go. Here you go. Josh Donaldson gets $92 million.
That's it.
With a 5th-year option.
Okay, but still.
It's kind of low.
Wow, so what was Atlanta International's offering him?
I don't know.
Wow.
80?
But everyone kept saying he was going to get 100. Anyway, D and Davis Show. I'm Kenneth Davis. You heard D having us wax poetic about a team that's not relevant.
They won't be again, sir. They won't be again.
No.
We've moved on to off the top.
Is Donna Shalala still in charge of that school? Because she never cared about the U.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Off top. National championship game. Starting to watch that game yesterday. One problem I always have, and it's funny, we were talking about Miami, and it's just the lack of competition at ACC. And I know that I'm beating an old drum, and I don't know how much it would affect Clemson had they played better competition later in the year. But I think because the ACC is what it is, I feel like maybe in their non-conference schedule, had they had some teams that were tougher, nothing that can set you up to lose, because Clemson still has the whip. Like, especially on offense. One thing you have to remember, on defense, they lost so many starters last year. And a lot of this year looked like that they were getting by without those starters, and they were sometimes stat-wise even better. But when you look at ETN and you look in the beginning of that game, Lawrence and those receivers, it was like a professional team out there at some point. And it was like,
It's about Clemson, right?
Joe Burrow, yeah. It was like, man, Joe Burrow, can you withstand this run? But the waves of LSU, You know what I'm saying? And the grit when it came down to it, with the physicality, it finally overwhelmed them. And Trevor Lawrence, in some ways, disappeared down the stretch in that game last night.
Under 50% passing.
Yeah, and
which is not like him.
Which, well, beginning of this year was like him. So it
I'm talking about the big games and big moments. He will pull them back.
He's only had one big game.
You want to say last year?
Saying no, Alabama. One thing that I feel like we haven't discussed, and I don't mean us, but nationally, is the fact, and I don't know if it's because of all these spread offenses in college, but back in the days, it used to be if you give Nick Saban some weeks to develop a defense for your offense, he was going to get your butt. And I know Alabama's defense hasn't been the same the last couple of years, and particularly this year due to injury, particularly in the linebacking core. But I put a lot of that on him, even though Tua messed up. You're supposed to be the guy that you're supposed to game plan. And Trevor Lawrence last year was a freshman, and you weren't able to do it. But getting back to this year and getting back to the national championship game, I had LSU winning. Joe Burrow, who to me proved he was the best quarterback this year in college football. First of all, Urban Meyer, man, you had to run that one off. Why?
Yeah. And this is Burrow's first year as a straight starter.
Second year there.
Okay,
yeah.
right.
Last year, different offensive coordinator took off this year.
Also, want to correct myself. I was looking at the wrong year. Miami was not in the ACC Championship.
These alternative facts D's coming up with.
I was looking at the wrong year. I'm sorry.
But
watching too much Fox News over there.
Yeah.
I like these alternative facts. They help Miami.
Oh man.
But it was a long game. It was definitely a good game. It was a well fought game. Until like really the last quarter and a half. But props to both of those schools for being outstanding football factories. Not paying those players, but definitely putting on a great show last night. I enjoyed it. Props to Clemson for being still in their dynasty run. They prop up next year. They're still in their dynasty run. I'm a Trevor.
Got one more year of Lawrence.
I'm not a Dabo fan, but I am a Trevor Lawrence fan. I feel like he has a chin like Rain Pryor, Richard Pryor's daughter.
Wow.
Facts. But it was definitely a good game. Shout out to LSU. It's nice to see a different SEC team do it. I've always kind of liked LSU, but the problem has been since Rohan Davey and Jamarcus Russell and so on and so forth, Matt Flynn, they never had a lead QB. And they had some guys that had some phenomenal tools. And Davey, who was just an idiot, and then Jamarcus Russell, who was a bust. The guys who had tools but never were elite quarterbacks overall. So it was good for them to finally knock that out because, I mean, you could easily say the greatest quarterback in LSU history now is Joe Burrow. So definitely hats off to the number one pick. Unfortunately, now you're going to Cincinnati.
I will say, well, this is the first championship for LSU since 2007 or 2009.
Yeah, it was 13 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah.
No, hats off to them.
Miles won with Nick Saban's team.
Right. Listen, like I said, hats off to them. It was a good game. It was just a lot of LSU. The defense definitely stepped up. Trevor Lawrence and the guys couldn't really do what they needed to do. But like you said, though, they're going to have another good team next year. And I could probably say they're probably going to be back in the national championship again.
Who is?
Clemson,
right.
Possibly.
I mean, if they got the easiest road to hoe.
Right. They got the easiest road to hoe, and they still have the best quarterback in the country.
Well, let's see, you comes back.
The only problem is with them is strength of schedule. So let's just say like next year you have, probably won't happen, especially in the SEC, but let's say you have 4 unbeaten teams. Let's say you have a Big Ten unbeaten team. And that's
Ohio State, probably.
Yeah, exactly. SEC.
But doesn't it compare on their schedule, too?
Whose?
Because only SEC really plays a tough
but the Big Ten is harder than the ACC. Period. The Big Ten. You still have to run through.
I guess it depends.
Wisconsin. Think about it. You have to listen. Wisconsin, Penn State, and forget Minnesota was good this year.
Yeah.
You don't have that.
Michigan State are kind of
Miami
down,
being bad, FSU being bad. There's nobody you have to play in the ACC. You just don't.
Not really.
Yeah, it's just that's not Clemson's fault. They're
right.
Everyone in there are weak, but unfortunately, that's the
Boston
College. Yeah,
But they might get
Auburn's in the SEC.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
They might get the nod over an undefeated Big Ten team.
No. I'm not saying they won't, but it's always going to be if you ever run into.
But that's not going to help them. Their strength of schedule.
Let's just say the Big 12.
If they lost the game, they might be out of the playoff.
Let's say the Big 12 is good, decent. good next year. Let's just say the Big 12 have 2 to 3 teams, right? Then you're starting to run into this issue, perhaps. I still think, like you're saying, they're going to get the benefit of the doubt. I feel like they should for the blue blood they are.
Well, I'm saying if they're undefeated with a couple other undefeated outside SEC, I think that they probably have a case, depending on the schedule. Of course.
But imagine this: what if you have an undefeated Alabama team and a one loss, or flip it, and a 1-loss LSU team?
Yeah, I mean LSU's going to get the benefit of the doubt being national champ, just like we talked about with Clemson.
That's what I was going to say. Like that's where you kind of run into that issue.
But I think the committee would be a little bit biased because they see Clemson really be able to handle any competition level.
But the committee also said that they factor in who you played and who's healthy when they play. So that's the reason why it's a human committee now compared to just being straight committee.
At least we know the Pac-12 ain't bringing anybody to the table.
Right.
I mean, you look at Louisville, they're not there anymore. Boston College not there anymore. Florida State, Florida State.
Florida State, they're not coming back.
VT, Pitt,
no.
Miami right now, of course. No. GT back in the day used to be a pretty pretty accomplished football division.
Yeah. Again,
program.
Hats off to those young men.
Yeah, man, they did a good job.
Yeah, well, I'm happy.
And it was basically like a home game for them. They was down there home cooking. Mm-hmm. It was good for them.
Alex Cora's fired for off top.
You would hate on that.
We're going to go deep more into this topic, but yes.
And we know AJ Hinch has been let go as well. How fast are these guys getting jobs again?
Definitely.
As soon as their suspension's done?
Year.
Well, he's suspended for this upcoming season. This season. Not next season, just this season, right?
This season. 1 year.
Okay.
Because Hinch is coming back.
Jeff Lunau have 1 year suspensions.
Maybe the White Sox.
Alex Cora he's getting 2 years, if not more, I feel like.
I've been hearing potential lifetime ban.
Which is BS. That's BS.
They gave it to Pete.
That's exactly what we're going to have to do.
We're going to go deep dive into it.
Do not bring Pete Rose into this conversation.
We're going to give more.
Pete's weighed in on it.
I don't care what he's weighed in on.
Yeah, we'll bring what Pete says later.
Yeah, we're definitely bringing it. All right, I got another off top.
Oh, I got one too, though.
Go ahead then.
Oh, no. Locally, we've all done this. I think you came out there with us before, Ryan. I believe you did. The Bears are not going to be in Bourbonnais anymore.
Well, most teams played at home.
Yeah, they're going to be in Hallis Hall now.
They're going to Hallis Hall. Yeah. They're saying Bourbonnais, we're taking that back. Probably they don't want to live that Jesuit lifestyle when they're out there.
Not next to the projects no more.
So, yeah.
Little row houses. Don't want projects. It was like little row houses.
They don't want
projects. Row houses and projects are similar depending on the location and how they look.
They don't want
townhouse, row house.
They don't want thousands of fans booing Mitch.
I'm sure they're going to probably have stuff open up for people to come.
Yeah, they will. They will. They said. But from what I understand, it's so much smaller of a facility. They were getting 6,000 to 10,000 almost daily in Bourbonnais. They won't come anywhere near that.
They'll end up taking it back out sooner or later during the next regime.
They still have 3 years.
Though.
They still have 3 years under contract before they pulled out.
For Bourbonnais?
Yeah.
They could pay that off.
They must have an out, but maybe they can go back.
Wait a minute. I forgot who we were talking to, Ken. And it was like, man, listen, it's going to go to Hallis Hall. And I think that was like 2 years. When was that?
Zach Zeman?
Was it Zach Zeman? He was like, it was somebody saying like, no, they going to be gone. They ain't coming back out here in Bourbonnais. Like all the NFL teams are going out. I mean, they're going back to
it's becoming the trend.
Yeah. I mean, you have and the Bears, I think, upgraded their facilities at Hallis Hall.
But the one thing you have to remember, too, this isn't 30 years ago where guys came in fat.
Right.
So having to take them away from Platteville then to Bourbonnais, where you were trying to get them healthy and right for the season, guys train now. They live that lifestyle. You don't have to sit there and get a guy in shape as much. So there's no reason to have them go out there and live in these dorms and do all this extra
They do a
stuff.
workout.
Yeah, and then on top of that, let's not forget who's now. It could be a coordination of both, or it could be Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy doesn't even use the preseason. So what's the purpose? Right? He doesn't even see the importance outside of just practices. So what's the importance of going out there?
Well, I mean, it was just practice, though. I mean, it was just practice for them anyway. I mean, I would think
it's purely for the fans.
It
purely is. And they have family day.
Maybe
which
also,
is huge for them.
But that's up here though.
I know that's what I'm saying though.
Yeah. But maybe also this is telling us that the preseason is going to be shrunken down anyway. So they're getting ahead of it.
I don't think it has anything to do with preseason. I think it's a simple fact that they just don't want to go out there. They probably don't want to pay the money. They don't, as you said before, the guys don't have to like get siphoned away from reality and everyday people. I mean, everyday people, their everyday lifestyles to get them back in shape. I think it's just a simple fact of like, why are we paying? Why are we having these people go all the way out there? We upgraded our facilities in Hallis Hall. bring that up to Alice Hall.
You could be right, and again, I'm just prognosticating. But the point that I'm trying to make is, if you're only going to have 2 preseason games, why go all the way to Bourbonnais?
Yeah, I mean that's true too.
So, if they're going to do away with preseason games, it does not make sense to spend all that time out there.
Real quick,
and probably facility wise, it's better. I mean, facility wise, instead of going down to this small college, you got everything up here anyway.
And
especially
sure they have.
I know the stuff moves, but what about the virtual stuff? All this, what's the
purpose of it?
They got arguably the best facility right now since it was so remodeled so soon ago. Right. So they have a top-notch facility. No one can beat them in facility.
All right.
And also, too, do a lot of the guys live out that way? That might be travel for them.
I mean, that's where they practice.
Sort of like how the Bulls moved Berto Center. They moved it down to the Advocate Center because most of the guys lived in the city. It's like, why are we going through all this? Just move it back down on the west side next to the arena.
All right, I got 2 more off tops.
On the top.
Jimmy Johnson just made it to the Hall of Fame?
I was kind of shocked by that too. Bad football fan by me. I thought he was already in.
A partner of mine's mentioned that to me today, Courtney. One thing I pointed out, Jimmy Johnson and Bill Cowher are not from the same cloth. Bill Cowher went in also, former Pittsburgh coach.
Yes, he did.
Went to 2 Super Bowls, lost 1, was not the general manager of those Pittsburgh teams. Jimmy Johnson created that. It's a funny thing. We were just talking about a week ago. I said, talking to myself in the head, to Jerry Jones, why couldn't you just let Jimmy rock for 10 years? Because they probably would have won 5. And this is in the 90s when free agency just broke open. And when free agency broke open, they took a lot of the depth off of those teams, the Cowboys teams. They went into the depth and took those guys. But when you see that they would have probably won 4 with Barry Switzer winning a year after Jimmy had won. And one of the things Troy Aikman always pointed out, that Barry Switzer wasn't disciplinarian that Jimmy was. And that's how they started to lose their ways. Like, Jimmy Johnson should have been in the Hall of Fame.
And he revolutionized the draft with trades.
Well, they don't do it anymore, though. They used to use his.
But no, they still use it.
I think it's out of date.
They've revolutionized it, but it's still primarily about the same.
So what Ryan is saying, that Jimmy Johnson basically set up draft values for how much picks are and how you go about trading those picks, and you basically use what his evaluation was for that. For years.
I think before he did it, it was like they never traded on draft day. Period.
Yeah.
Too scared of the value that they were giving up.
Clearly, Mike Ditka wasn't using it when he traded a whole draft and a half for Ricky Williams.
Yeah.
Well, he got a good player.
Moment of silence for Ricky Williams.
What's wrong with Ricky
Thank you very much. He's dead.
When did Ricky Williams die? Are you secure?
Oh, no, I'm not talking about Ricky Williams. I'm talking about, what's the other dude from Texas?
Cedric Benson.
I got him a Texas. I got my Texas running back.
He said moment of silence for Ricky when he meant it. It's like he's dead.
I was like, what? When did Ricky die?
Whoa!
I got my Texas running backs mixed up.
Were you watching Boys in the Hood? Ricky!
That was good, Ryan.
Wow. All right.
I got my Texas running backs mixed up.
I got another off top. Former Penn State football player Isaiah Humphries filed a federal lawsuit Tuesday against the university. Coach James Franklin and former teammate Damon Barber. The suit alleges that Humphries was subject to hazing brought on by Barber, linebacker Micah Parsons, defensive lineman Uter Gross Matos, and linebacker Jess Lukita. And the coaching staff was aware of the hazing and it did not protect Humphries. The allegations include instances when, this was from ESPN, when the named players collectively orchestrated, directed, and facilitated a campaign to harass, haze, and underclassmen of the Penn State football team. The hazing alleged in the suit includes the participants stating that they intended to make underclassmen their bitches because this is a prison. The participants reference former defensive coordinator Jerry Sandusky, who was serving 30 to 60 years term for sexually assaulting children, by saying, "I'm going to Sandusky you." The action includes wrestling underclassmen to the ground and maintaining restraint, simulating a humping action, wrestling underclassmen to the ground while another participant placed his genitalia on the face of underclassmen, and instances of participants placing their genitalia on the buttocks of alleged victim and stroking their genitalia. What the I don't understand. Listen, we can say this.
That's some hazing right there.
We can say this boys being boys. Dude, I was hazing younger than this. And wasn't nobody pulling out their meat and stroking nobody's face and ass with it.
You got to up the ante.
I just had a long workout. Let me pull the meat out.
I mean,
oh, look at these boys.
Yeah, and I mean,
Paddling's been done.
These kids are young, but when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, I wasn't rubbing no dude with my body, period. Now, again, if that's your thing and it's consensual, that's fine. Locker room probably isn't the place for that, even if that's consensual. But this is...
Get ready for the body rub.
This is foolishness. And I'll be honest with you. If Franklin knew about it, brother, I'm sorry. You got to go.
So Penn
Especially
State,
State.
fines these people.
My question is, was any drugs involved?
I don't think so.
No?
No, they were coming out for... This happened.
That's the only way I do something like this. I got to be high.
When you get high, you start rubbing dudes with your genitalia.
I got to be on something.
When you get high, you start rubbing your...
Not just on the Mother Earth.
D, we need you to send a message to the locker room. Where's the drugs?
This is my whole thing. I would have to be on something strong to do something like that.
There's no way in
the world they can do that sober.
Not to say you can't come in high, but this is
just a freak.
This is during practice. This is before, after practice, and during probably weight training.
Sweaty balls.
Yeah, dude.
Just rubbing on somebody's face.
Somebody with huge meat rubbing themselves on you like that. That's even more disrespectful.
Come here, rookie.
Like that's why you want to do this.
Come here,
You want
freshie.
us to look at your phalanx, you bastard. Again, this was disgusting. Penn State deserves anything bad that happens to them. I'm sorry to Isaiah Humphries and any other kid that went through this, man. It's foul. These dudes need their asses beat.
Dang, that ain't cool.
Right.
Can he charge him up? Try to press charges, sexual harassment charges.
It's going to go into hazing, but you're right.
I would think so. That's sexual harassment.
It's something that they always kind of want to stay. They want to kind of stay away from going through the veil of / boys being boys, and that's their team, and they're allowed certain things to do. That's why I feel like it's just going to go under hazing.
Listen, if that was my son, I'm like, oh no, we pressing charges.
I'm being one of the little bastards with a bat.
Well, I ain't gonna say why we want you to go to jail. I'm just saying.
I'm being one of those little bastards with a bat.
They little bastards. These are big college boys.
Yeah, you're young to me, so they little bastards. You putting your genitalia in my son's face.
Who put they balls in my son's face? Who put their sweaty balls in my son's face?
Somebody out there saying that who put the genitalia on their son's face, man.
Who was you? You like you got a big package. Was it you?
Massive Mitch.
Pull it down. Let me see. Son, was these balls?
Are these the balls?
Come here, son. Get close.
I swear for God.
Get closer. Are these the balls, son?
Put your face next to it.
Recreate the seat.
You was already there. Are these the balls? Oh my God. That's pretty nasty.
I mean, especially thinking about massive football meat and somebody rubbing it on my backside.
Man, I remember I had a football guy.
Rub his meat on your backside?
No.
Cam Newton?
He was high.
No. Well,
But if he was, Cam.
they mostly were high. No, I went to the Northern Illinois University, and I was cool with the football guys because one of my boys from high school was on the football team, so it was kind of cool with everybody. I mean, yeah, we was just cool with everybody. And he came in like, hey man, let me see if I can fit your jacket. I'm like, dude, I wasn't even 5'7" then. I'm like, I might have been like 5'3", 5'4". I was like, dude, you about 6'4", a good solid 270. You can't fit my jacket. Come on, D. Let me try to put on your jacket. I said, no, man, you gonna rip my jacket. My mama got me. I ain't gonna rip it, D. Put my jacket on. Thankfully, he did not rip it.
But it never fit the same.
Never fit the same. Football players are a special breed of human beings. They're good guys, but they're just different. They're different. I couldn't see basketball players doing anything like that. They too cool. They too cute. Football players, something different about it. Son, whose balls was this son?
I think we all go through hazing in the locker room.
I hazed.
But there were different, they were different lines. I drew a line and I protected kids because it got crazy. My last 2 years where dudes were losing their minds, especially when they became the juniors and seniors and they felt like they had to take this out on the freshmen and sophomores, where I was like, nah, son.
Did anybody defecate in somebody's belongings?
Maybe. It was a lot of getting your ass beat. And just humiliated. There were times where I've said before where I could have gotten jumped on for taking up for people. I remember when I was a junior And remember, I was new to the team as a junior, and these seniors were about to smash this dog like Benji with a log that was as wide as my arm, as long as my arm and wider. And I was like, damn. And I wasn't even by them. And I ran over by them. I'm like, oh, man, we're about to get into it. I was like, don't you do that to that dog. And they was like, they looked at me. It's like, all right. And I was like, thank you. Right? Like, and I mean, it was big. Actually, if I was going to practice that day, if I was leaving practice, I would have taken that dog with me. Somebody had spent some money on that dog. But that just times like that, racist stuff that happened where I intervened and we were outnumbered. If I didn't come from a certain cloth that they viewed, they would have pummeled my ass, basically, probably. That it's risky, right? Like it's very risky to say, and it's the worst part too. It's unsupervised. Like at least there, because usually in college, the strength coordinator is the person that gets to spend the most time with the players because coaches can't spend time with them in the off season like the strength coordinators and stuff like that. But it was no strength coordinator when we were lifting weights. Rarely was somebody even in there with us. So it was just us on our own, and with kids, young men, testosterone, anything can happen. So again, I'm sorry for these young men at Penn State. Yeah. Penn State really needs to rectify the situation. They should be on top of this to make sure stuff like this doesn't happen. I'm sure some people say you can't cover all your bases, but when you have the history that Penn State has, you have to go above and beyond to make sure things like this don't take place. And as soon as you hear it, you have to, similar to when we get into the Jeff Lunau and the AJ Hinch situation, if they weren't involved and it was Alex Cora and Carlos Beltran and others, they had to snipe that out anyway. You got to be like, you know what? That's about enough, guys, because you're not taking me down. One thing we always go to, if morality doesn't do it for you, let selfishness do it for you. If you're not going to correct the issue because it's morally corrupt, correct it because it affects your own future or your paycheck. Period.
Preach.
I feel you on that one. All right, that's enough off the top. Come on back. Break down these NFL playoffs next. D and Davis Show.
What's up, everybody? It's Cameron Smith from CBS 2 Chicago. You're listening to the D and Davis Show.
Let's go to Patrick Mahomes at the podium.
Patrick, second year in a row, you all make it to the AFC Championship game. What's the meaning of this time around second? What did you want to have you on from last year?
I mean, obviously, it's an amazing accomplishment, first off, to be in the AFC Championship. I mean, when you look at the season, before the season, you have all these goals, but you know it's a process. And so, obviously, we're very happy that we get to play AFC Championship, get to play it at home with the home fans. But now just going in with the mentality of not coming up short. And we've played the Titans. They're a great football team. And we know it's going to be a great challenge. So we're excited to get in there and prepare ourselves in order to go out and play our best football.
D and Davis Show, we are back. All right, it's that time of the year. Divisional round is over for the NFL playoffs, and now we are going to Championship Sunday, AFC.
Whoa.
NFC Sunday.
You're not going to give a Luke Kuechly shout out before?
You can go ahead and you do it. Ryan, you hit us with the news.
Oh, you guys are the hosts?
No, man, go. I can get over to you.
Producers do. They interrupt and tell us.
Well, Luke Kuechly has
breaking
decided...
news. We gotta get a sound alert for you when you breaking news. Right.
Yeah. Well, Luke Kuechly, Defensive Player of the Year in 2013, retires at the age of 28.
He's smart.
In my heart, I know it's the right thing to do, he said. 8 seasons, 7-time Pro Bowler, Hall of Famer?
All Carolina, right?
Probably. Yeah. Ooh. Also, yeah. How many? You got to really think who's...
Really?
All right, let's go back. Hall of Famer usually means you're the best player.
All right, time out on the NFL playoff talks.
Best player of the top 3 at your position. How many?
He was.
You got to think about this. How many great inside middle linebackers in a 4-3 front? So we can go.
Bobby Wagner.
All right. But outside of that,
Luke Kuechly.
And Luke Kuechly probably
for the past 10 years?
Yeah, Luke Kuechly had
8 because he's only played 8.
He had more years of being the top than Bobby Wagner did. Bobby Wagner probably has the last 3 years. But Luke had more. Yeah, dog. Luke Kuechly, he was, if not the best middle linebacker every year, he was in the top 3, if not the top 2. Also,
went to a Super Bowl.
Also, since talk about the Panthers, LSU the passing coordinator, Joe Brady, is going to go be the offensive coordinator at the Panthers also.
Interesting.
But also, this is what I want to say, too. Remember, the Panthers have a lot of turnover with that new owner. They have Matt Rule coming in. who knows who? I don't feel like going through this. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we were going to sit here. We're going to re-up. We had Cam. We had Christian McCaffrey. I'm trying to do this last run. Now that I know that this team is about to be turned over, I'm not here for this. I've given my body up. I had enough money. I'm out. And hats off to the young man. Go do your damn thing.
I definitely agree with you on that one. Hall of Famer though.
Yeah. Give me best middle linebackers over the last.
Bobby Wagner number 1 for sure.
I don't know if he's number 1 over Luke Kuechly.
I'm not talking about for the past 10 years.
The past 10 years.
Because I know he only played 8, but it's always go by the decade. But you a top dude in your decade.
Yeah, but you got to remember this too. Bobby Wagner popped more as the Legion of Boom was dying. So when the other guys, the Michael Bennett's, all those other members of...
No, he was pretty big with that cover 3 covering the middle.
I still don't think we looked at him as being number 1 in middle line.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe not, but he was right
as
there.
Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor
They were
started
more
to
of the stars.
dissipate, that's when Bobby Wagner started to raise up higher as far as being the leader on that defense.
Yeah.
So that's the only point I'm trying to make.
You saying inside linebacker.
But I'm saying
Inside
if it
middle linebacker,
came...
let alone 4-3. Both of these are 4-3 guys.
If it came between them two and only one could go in the Hall of Fame, I might lean Bobby Wagner.
I think I will go.
But see, this is the question though. So when you look at the Hall of Fame, are you looking at linebacker in general, or are they going to specifically go, you're the best inside linebacker, so that's why you're going to...
Inside linebacker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're talking about linebacker.
You can't compare Khalil Mack and Luke Kuechly.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about. I understand that. Listen, I'm not saying that I don't get what you all saying. I'm just talking about for the simple fact when it goes to being up for the Hall of Fame, are the voters are going to say
yes?
They're going to look overall. They're not going to put everybody in the basket. Like best linebacker
just
of
like
the
if
decade.
you look, all right, just like
because best linebacker in the decade, I'm like I don't know if he's in the top
because think
best
about it.
in the linebacker.
How they look
overall.
all right, look at the Ray Lewis, Brian Urlacher going to the Hall of Fame. They were the number 1 and 2 best middle linebackers of that era.
Yes, they
all
were.
right. Derek Brooks. One of the reasons that we say that there's a chance that Lance Briggs should be in the Hall of Fame. Derek Brooks was the number 1 weak side linebacker. Lance Briggs is probably the number 2, if not the number 3 in that system. One reason I can caveat to Peanut. Now, this is where I can lean towards you like this. I can go into systems when it comes to cornerback and say cover 2 cornerback or regular cornerback. The only person you can say that was clearly probably a better cover 2 cornerback than Peanut was Rondé Barber. You know what I'm saying? And there's some things that Peanut did better. Rondé sacked better, but Peanut
and intercepted probably.
Yeah, I was going to say Peanut had the Peanut punch. So still, I think you look at the positions, and at that position, where did you rate at that position?
Okay. Yeah, I think he's in there.
Hey, listen, I hope he gets in. I'm not saying he's not. I mean, I just kind of threw me right there. Like, oh, wow.
Besides hating Luke Kuechly, what NFL action did you notice, Steve?
NFL action?
Yeah, over the weekend.
Oh, man. One thing
what caught your eye?
Listen, man. Something hurt my heart more than anything, and that was Sunday.
Ooh, with the great Russell?
Oh, man.
I told you.
He did all he can do. The great Russell Wilson.
I said there was going to be one upset, but I was wrong.
He did everything he could do. But oh no, Seattle defense. Oh no, you can't stop Adams. That's all you had to do. Stop Adams. That's it. All you had to do. It probably could have won that
They've
game.
been overinflated all year.
Who?
Seattle.
Hey man, listen, don't you dare.
They've got a great quarterback, and they have some nice
Hall of
pieces.
Fame quarterback.
I'm
Hall of Fame
on the
quarterback.
site NFL Football Journal, and it has the 2010's best players. It says like all Hall of Famers will let voters pick the top 3 linebackers regardless of position, and that means the 2010 linebackers will be Luke Kuechly, Bobby Wagner, and Von Miller. 2 middle linebackers and 1 rush linebacker. The second team will likely be Khalil Mack, Navarro Bowman, and then likely another rush linebacker in Justin Houston. So, Luke Kuechly is prominent in the linebackers.
Cool. Hey, listen, I'm not saying that. I'm not disparaging anything he was saying. It just kind of threw me off. I'm like, oh, okay, Hall of Fame.
He's hurt by Russell Wilson. He can't think straight about Luke
I
Kuechly.
personally told you.
What?
I said that in this game, I'm going to say that Aaron Rodgers is going to, even though I would say 2 to 3 next year, the year after that, I'm going to take Russ over Aaron, but this is Aaron. And that I thought Green Bay was going to win this game.
I'm not saying that you didn't. I went with my heart. I said I wanted Seattle to win because of Russell Wilson. But it really, really, really came down to the fact that the secondary couldn't stop Adams. It really did. And obviously,
the secondary got to stop the running back. You probably in a bad position.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you're not, but
You at the second level.
But Aaron Rodgers was able to make some beautiful throws and put it right there where only
As an
Adams
old
could
goat
do.
would. Now, as new goat is growing. Shout out to you new goat. See you, Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Baby goat.
But no, that was a tough one right there, man. I mean, it literally came down to like the last play.
My heart went out to, and I said this, that I thought the Titans were going to win, but I'm going to go with my heart and go with the Ravens because black quarterback. And man,
I was at dinner when y'all were
Yeah.
texting that. I didn't see the game. I was at dinner.
It was over early.
It
I'm
was
like, whoa.
so done.
I didn't get my signal.
When he
was-
fumbled it, that was it.
Well, my signal was bad, and then I eventually got someone was good, and I just saw the text coming in. I'm
It
like,
was the
what's going on?
Worst matchup. As soon as it happened, it was like, oh.
And they panicked. I don't get why John Harbaugh panicked so much. They just like, he could have tried running the ball with Mark Ingram
Yeah, you could have.
and then maybe get Lamar just running just to really build up his confidence, but they went straight pass.
Dude.
53 passes
They're
from
going to have
Lamar.
to go out. I'll tell you what.
Too much?
I don't know if I would do this because it's injury prone. You never know what'll happen. They got to go out and get a receiver, like a big time.
Hollywood had a pretty decent game.
It's not. No, I like the Hollywood draft when they drafted it. The draft pick when they drafted him. You need a tall guy.
Yeah.
If AJ Green is out there and you want to risk his injury history, you need to listen. I love Lamar Jackson. He's gonna have to win from the pocket.
Do you know how good off right now they are? They have 45 mil under the cap and they got 9 draft picks.
Yeah, because
Baltimore?
they're not paying anybody.
Yeah, they ain't paying anybody.
All their
They got
starters
Suggs.
under contract.
Yeah, Suggs
All
left,
gone.
Flacco left.
Bazooka Joe gone.
Yeah, those were the larger contracts.
Also, too, the Packers won that game 28-23, and the Ravens lost to the Titans 28-12. I'm sorry.
Then it was a game that we told you was going to probably be a blowout, but you told us you didn't think it was going to be a blowout.
Who, me?
Yeah, the Texans versus the Chiefs.
Dude,
That was a surprise, though.
They were up 24-0. Nothing.
Yeah, but they only scored one touchdown. The rest was a 2 on special team for Luke.
Well, okay.
Why?
Why?
You take the points any way you can get them.
The thing that drove me crazy-
They still got blowout. They still got blown out.
That was crazy.
The thing that drove me crazy,
Not when it's just
why did he kick that field goal? Why didn't he go for it on 4th down?
Because his name's Bill O'Brien.
Man, that pissed me off.
Because his name is Bill O'Brien.
Four,
You think
they were going to go for
Bill
it.
O'Brien? He said they didn't have a 4th and 1 play. Think about that. That's your head coach.
You got
It was like,
one of the best running quarterbacks in the
you
league.
have one?
Is he trying to get fired?
No.
It sounds like it.
He's inept.
It looks like it.
He's inept. No, I'm happy he was honest. He's inept. And to be honest with you, why Josh McDaniels, and I'm not the biggest Josh McDaniels guy, but he is very capable while he's out there. And Bill O'Brien is in the personnel decisions anyway. Go and get Josh McDaniels to get his ass up out of there.
Yeah.
'Cause
You would think.
You're squandering Deshaun Watson.
And
Why is Deshaun so gung-ho behind his coach?
He wasn't, if you paid attention. He was like, as long as I'm here.
He said, as long as I'm here. He did say
Which
that.
is like, he didn't say, listen,
That's
I
my
won't-
guy.
I won't play under nobody else. He was
Yeah.
like, hey.
But he also gave a lot for Bill O'Brien.
What's he
too.
supposed to say?
Hey, he can't, yeah.
He's supposed to be like that kid on the social media.
Man, I would
You
be.
didn't see the one I sent where the kid's like, hey, listen, y'all play good. It was the coaches. You
Yeah,
didn't see
yeah,
that
that's
one?
all. That's all.
He's supposed to do that. Be like, it was the coaches' fault. We out here like.
And the Chiefs won that game 51-31.
Well, Bill O'Brien's coming back then. If he gives him all this support.
They got to talk.
No,
They
I
got
don't know. Deshaun Watson
Hey,
has.
if
Deshaun
he says,
Watson
I
has
want
been,
Bill, they're going to keep Bill.
Deshaun Watson has been saving Bill O'Brien's ass for about 2-3 years.
I'm with you.
Now it's kind of like, okay, bro.
That's why I should
you
be
come out
like,
and say
yeah,
you-
we lost because of coaching.
You come out and say that he ain't gonna say that publicly, but you gonna come out and say that we have a 4th and 1 play.
And he wanted to go for it on 4th and 1.
Grace can figure out a 4th and 1 play.
They have that little,
Run the rock up the middle.
that flippity-doo-dah play.
I got one. Quarterback sneak.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's something
How about
simple.
Deshaun on the edge?
Yeah, even if it's just, we're not even talking about trick plays. Just something simple. Well, come on, man.
This is the same guy who didn't go for the field goal against Buffalo, man.
And then you go for a 4th and 4 in your own half of the field?
Let's do a trick play, y'all.
And then was hesitant.
I mean, it wasn't a bad call, but
you were hesitant.
right.
Yeah.
You got to run that thing right
Gotta
away.
go right away. Yeah. I thought actually he was gonna pull it off. I'm like, oh, he got the edge. Like, oh no, he don't have it.
And I didn't like how Justin Reed ran that. He was trying to go for like the stiff arm body. Like, bro, get outside.
Listen, the Chiefs came back literally in 1 quarter.
Yeah.
1 quarter. 1 quarter.
Can
You
Tennessee?
thought they weren't?
Hold on.
I didn't say no. Listen to me. I would say this much. I know that you got get the 2 touchdowns based off of special teams, which is great. That's gravy. That's gravy.
It was a muff punt and a drop.
No, it wasn't a muff punt. He blocked it.
Yeah,
He
they got blocked.
He blocked
That's
that.
what I meant.
For a touchdown.
He blocked it, and it was a kickoff. Fine, but you take that. That's gravy. But damn, y'all, 1 quarter. 1 quarter.
Can Tennessee beat them?
No.
No shot?
They have a shot.
Honest to God truth.
They have a shot.
Yeah.
They have a shot. Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. They have a shot. Because you know what you do?
What if
you run the rock?
Derrick Henry goes for
You
200?
run the rock.
You know what?
You run the rock.
You can run that rock all you want. He can't fly through the air? Because guess what? And I know Derrick Henry can keep the offense off the field. But you just
The
said,
Chiefs don't care about time of possession.
That's what I just said. 1 quarter, what they did in 1 quarter, they can't beat Kansas City.
The way that you...
And I'm a Tennessee. I like Tennessee.
Yeah.
And again, with Baltimore, the problem was, and it happened early. What happens when Lamar Jackson is behind, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if Patrick Mahomes is behind. He's going to put it on your ass, and he's going to do it fast. So, no.
I think they have a shot. I think there's one thing. I think the Chiefs' defensive line need to make sure that... And I think Jones was out that game. But did Jones play that game?
He was out.
He was out that game, right? You have to get penetration through Tennessee's offensive line and be able to get Henry in the backfield. Obviously, that should be football 101 when it comes to defense, right? But Tennessee knows who they are. That's a good thing what Vrabel has done or the way he's coaching. He knows he's coaching to what he has. Tannehill threw the ball, 12 times?
And that's going to be a problem, brother.
But this is my thing, though.
What was the score?
Tennessee?
They put up 28 points.
28 points. You said the same thing about Houston. I'm not saying...
She's put up 51 points.
But this is the thing, though.
That means at least they scoring 30-something on a bad game on your ass.
But this is the thing. Yes, I play devil's advocate with you on this.
Because I hope that's all you know.
I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
They just got to be able to control the clock and run the ball.
It don't matter.
If you can
It's
do
the greatest
old
show on
school,
turf, but it's on grass.
if you do old school football and run the rock and control the clock, I understand that. Oh man, they come out there and score within 4 plays. Run the rock, control the clock.
Okay, wait. For the Titans to win, what has to happen?
Tannehill has to throw more passes than that.
Yeah, I say
If he can't be a game manager, in that
Like he has to have like 2 touchdowns.
He got 2 touchdowns in the last game.
2 to 3 touchdowns easily and over 300 yards passing. Max. Yeah.
That means that they're not
he's
running
done
the
it.
rock. That means they're not running the rock. That means Derrick Henry is not a factor in the game.
If they running the rock,
Dude, that's the only way they could beat them.
I'm not saying. Look.
And they already beat them this year too, right?
I'm not
Didn't Tennessee beat them?
Tennessee beat him.
I'm not disagreeing
In Tennessee.
I'm not disagreeing. Was what's the name of that game?
Patrick Mahomes was there. Yeah.
But it was when he just came back. How long
I think
was it?
something like
I think
that.
the next week he went out. Is that what it was?
I forgot exactly what the circumstance
Remember,
was, but
he was
back.
hurt.
Yeah, he was.
He was hurt already when he had the knee thing because it was like.
But that was that game that was like 51-49, and it came down to like the blocked field goal.
Okay. But again, that was before KC's defense was playing well.
Yeah.
All right. My thing is this. I think we all think Derrick Henry was going to rush the rock. I don't know if he's going to have close to 200 yards. I think he's going to have closer to 150. But I don't think it's going to be enough. All right, let's say he rushes the rock. He has 2 touchdowns. I'll even say he has 2 touchdowns. He sets up a field goal. That's 17 points. Tannehill has 2 more touchdowns.
Mahomes did play that game. He went 36 for 50, 446 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Tennessee won that game 35-32.
What week was it?
It was like week of 10 or 11.
10-11.
Okay.
It was week 10 because KC was 6-4 and Tennessee was 5-5.
Well, I think.
Wow, check that out. That was 5-5.
I think Kansas City's going to beat them. I'm not going to say they're going to blow them out.
I think Tennessee's got to get some turnovers, obviously. They're going to need some special teams. I mean, they got to win 3 phases if they're going to have a shot.
All right, we asking a lot.
Because we know Kansas City's bringing offense. I don't think there's much doubt. Like you said, probably on a bad day, 30 points.
I think.
But if you get enough in the other phases, then you don't need Ryan Tannehill to be as great.
Tyreek Hill had 157 yards that game.
Yeah, but that's.
Travis Kelce had 75 and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Hartman had a touchdown. Dude. I'm trying to see Tannehill.
I mean, I don't think Kansas City's going to play a tougher team defensively right now.
To me, I think the team that had the best shot to beat Kansas City, again, going with matchups with Baltimore, was Baltimore. And now with Baltimore out, I don't think Tannehill can live up to it. If he does, hats off to you.
Ryan Tannehill went for 13 and 19, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, 23 carries, 188 yards. So that means that Ray was coming in saying, we know we can run a rock against you. We just got 188 on you.
Well, I mean, Bill Belichick couldn't even take away Derrick Henry. If Bill doesn't take it away, I don't know if anyone's going to just take it away.
I'm not worried about Derrick Henry.
No, I know. I'm not saying that Derrick Henry getting the rock, that's the answer.
But they're going to use all I'm saying is.
We know they're going to use Derrick Henry.
But that has to be the obvious foundation.
Yeah, but that's still probably not going to lead to enough points to beat Kansas City. That's the only point that I'm making. They can play the game they want to play. It's still probably not a game that can put up enough points to beat KC. That's all the point that I'm trying to make.
Do you think it's going to be a close game?
I say KC wins by 7 to 10 points.
Late? Or like how was yesterday?
I say by the fourth quarter, this game is over.
Okay.
Says over.
Okay. So then,
this is the thing we have to say. So if KC goes up, what y'all gonna do with Derrick Henry then?
They got a front run.
Let's think about it. If
they got a front running.
KC goes up.
I mean, that was the difference in the Baltimore game, right? Yeah. Baltimore's a front running team. Same with Tennessee.
But see, even with that, the game would have been closer because Baltimore being a primary rushing team, they weren't going to just stack points on you like that. Well, KC may just stack some points on your ass.
Sure.
And you may have to go to a passing team. And even though you should still use Derrick Henry, you still can't go through, let's just take all this time off the clock.
Just continue to play devil's advocate. Sometimes some teams just have it in a year.
Yeah, I'm not denying that.
And they seem like Tennessee could be that year for them.
I agree.
Going on the road,
same with
Baltimore,
Kansas City.
Going on the road, going to beating New England. What is that?
That is because it's KC's year.
Yeah, it could be. It definitely could be.
How about the other one? San Francisco destroys Minnesota, sets up Green Bay, San Fran. How you feeling that one?
90s NFC.
Yeah, that is.
You know what? I want to
come on.
I want to go with the 49ers, but I think
really,
I think Green Bay's gonna pull it out.
Wow.
I've never been a believer in Jimmy G. This season. Obviously, they make it to the NFC. I have egg on my face as it is right now. How far they've gotten, but it still to me comes down to your quarterback making key plays. Hence, what happened with Green Bay beating Seattle. It came down to Aaron Rodgers making those throws to win the game, and he's able to do that. I think it's going to be close because I don't see. It would shock me.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a blowout.
Yeah, it would shock me if San Francisco was kind of like, what is this?
Unless Garoppolo just turns the ball.
A game of his life. Oh, okay.
I'm saying, I don't think
vice versa. I got you.
Because I'm going with the pack.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a blowout, but unless Garoppolo just has a terrible game. But yeah, I think.
But this
are you going with the pack?
Yeah. Because hey, listen,
I'm going San Fran.
I think. Listen. Not so much coming as from a Bears fan and you looking at the Packers. I just believe in Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, if they're playing high level, they can beat anybody.
Now, KC, San Fran is playing at home. That's home field cooking.
I just think
they got the defense and they got the run game.
Their defensive line is going to be too much for Green Bay to handle.
Green Bay, that's a lot too.
Right now, San Francisco is the best team without a great quarterback. They have just everything that you want. They have enough at receiver, especially if you count George Kittle as the receiving threat. They got enough at running back. They use that fullback in creative ways. They do the same kind of Rams offense where a lot of formations that they run different things out of. They're a run-first team, and they dominate the line of scrimmage on defense. And you got Richard Sherman in the backfield as that leader in the secondary.
Listen, I hope that you're right because I don't want to see Green Bay just being a homer right here. I hope you're right, but it just comes down to me. It just comes down to quarterback play, man.
I think Jimmy, he's going to have some moments where you're going to see he's obviously not as good as Aaron Rodgers, but I just don't think Rodgers is going to be comfortable at all in this game.
Listen, I've said
hate that he has for the 49ers, the disdain with the Alex Smith pick and leaving me.
Hey, it hasn't really worked for him in the playoffs against San Fran.
But that's because you were staring at the afro running down. Black power, black power, black power, black power. Now it's porn star.
Yeah, come on.
Listen, I think with Jimmy G, he has to probably have the game of his life.
See, I don't think so.
I don't know if he has to.
Okay, I'll roll it back.
But he can't mess it up.
If
This is my
the
thing.
defensive
You gotta-
line
but he
isn't
has to be
dominating,
able to
then
beat-
yes.
He has to be able to beat and outplay, to a degree, Aaron Rodgers. Now, that's something that's not that easily done. It's a few dudes that's done it.
Wait, hold on. If that defensive line of San Fran is dominating like they've been,
Oh, it's game over then.
Jimmy doesn't have to do too much.
Any quarterback has happy feet.
Dominating like, whoa. I mean, because when you're saying dominating,
They've been the best defensive line in football.
Aaron Rodgers ain't the same Aaron Rodgers before he gets sacked 1,000 times and he still be able to get up there and do it. He's not that. And I didn't think Green Bay was this all-world team this year anyway.
well, he does. But
Yeah.
But you know what the funny thing is? This is the crazy part of what you just said. They're not an all-world team, but it goes to show if you give him something, what he can do.
What he can do. He's still at the prime of his career like that.
And it lets you know that they haven't been giving him, and we've known this, anything. But if you give him something like that offense,
And LaFleur's
outside of Aaron Jones, that offense really hasn't clicked, especially the passing game. It hasn't clicked.
Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, LaFleur. But he's
coaching his butt off right now.
And I think even if they pressure him, he's going to have those points. Listen, we already know the one thing that you know is going to happen for sure because of how Aaron Jones is running. Play action going to work.
That's if they get the run game going, though.
He's going to put up enough threat. He's that good of a running back. He could put up enough threat. Because even Ryan, if he gets 80 yards and just to put up enough to get the play action going. And it's not put it even like this. You're not putting 8 in the box on Aaron Rodgers.
No, you're not.
No, but if they get there with 4 and that defensive line dominates, then that's
the defensive
how
line
you
for
beat
San
them.
Fran is unbelievable right now.
Last names?
Who?
French last name?
Matt LaFleur.
No, I do. Some.
Can Richard Sherman take away Adams?
Take away.
I mean, he's proven he's top of the game still.
Can he?
He's good. He's ridiculous.
He can still take away a side of the field. You don't think?
I think he can get in. I think he can get got.
Man, disrespect for Richard
think he
Sherman.
can get got just like
The future Hall of Famer.
no question. No one's denying that. But I don't think he's necessarily quote unquote a world beater. I think it also goes to show the dearth that we have at corner right now. Like, who's the best corner? But Stephon Gilmore? Who's the best corner?
Maybe Tre'Davious White. Maybe Richard Sherman.
We're not in that where a few years ago it was 4 guys that'll probably pop up in your. There was Bonafide, Richard Sherman, Patrick Peterson, Darrell Reed. Like, you had guys that it was like, that's a guy right there. So I think
Over the decade, I would probably say it's only been him and Revis.
Yes, I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Outside of, Patrick Peterson being.
I just think that 49ers team, it's all about that defensive line. If they're getting pressure with the 4, I think it's going to be a tough day for the Green Bay offense.
I want to say I like home. I like home cooking for teams, and that's going to be a big factor, I do believe. So if I was to put a percentage on it, I think I'm probably leaning more towards you. I think it might be like 55-45 San Francisco.
I mean, they don't
And
have
I'm giving
a
the
ton
45.
of
I'm giving the
experience.
45 because of Aaron Rodgers.
They got the best. I think they got one of the best coaches. So Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
Cal Shanahan is coaching his butt off too.
That's what I believe in more on anything.
That's what I agree with that.
It's Kyle Shanahan.
I don't think it's really about Jimmy G other than you have to execute. If he is out there just, having a Jay Cutler game where I'm just throwing pick after pick and just these idiotic decisions, of course they're not going to win. But if he executes.
It got to seep into your mind on the other side of the field. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's like, man, I got to make sure I show up.
Hey, was Colin Kaepernick as good as Aaron Rodgers? No. But he was able to get the job done every time.
But Colin Kaepernick, at that particular time, man, it was just
Against
clicking.
Aaron Rodgers?
It was just clicking at that particular time.
That first when they went to the Super Bowl that year,
Yeah.
Colin he was.
They should have won that.
Remember,
Super Bowl.
listen, y'all said after that offseason, and you could say that physically he's the best quarterback in the game. Like, you got to think before he plateaued, we thought Colin Kaepernick was going to just keep rising. He was fast. He had a strong arm. So,
no doubt.
Yeah, at that point, potential-wise, people thought he had the chance to get up on Aaron Rodgers, but no, he wasn't. But we don't look at Jimmy G like that whatsoever.
Yeah, but also,
Colin Kaepernick was a lot
Colin
closer.
Kaepernick going into that Green Bay game, he got a lot of respect after he beat
Colin
him.
Kaepernick was a lot closer to how we view Lamar Jackson being the future of the NFL than how we view.
But I think we look at Jimmy G as the future of San Fran.
No. I mean,
people think he's good.
The future.
I agree. He's not as high up as Colin Kaepernick, but that's not my point.
I'm not ready to go there yet.
Transcendent. The next transcendent.
My point is you had a rising player at quarterback that wasn't quite established, but Colin definitely established himself after he beat Aaron Rodgers.
I think it was earlier we saw what Colin was doing. I still think now, because with the sample size that we have in Jimmy.
Yeah, but you got to get it done in the playoffs.
What'd you say?
You got to get it done. Like, Colin was having a great year, but what was the talk? You got to get it done in the playoffs.
But even before then, let's run his back. Even before then, he was the lifeblood of that 49ers offense.
Yeah.
That's not Jimmy G.
Well, they were a good offense. He brought them a step forward.
Yeah, but still the point is he was the lifeblood. He was the trigger. Jimmy G's not that.
But I don't think he's far off from that. I think you're making it seem like Jimmy's way behind.
No one. I think this year we've looked at Jimmy G as being more of a game manager. That was not Colin Kaepernick at that.
And he has some moments when he kind of goes off.
We looked at Jimmy G. We looked at Colin Kaepernick as a difference maker. We don't look at Jimmy G.
Yeah, but I know going into that Green Bay game,
Shanahan is who we believe in. They made it right.
But that's the same thing. Jim Harbaugh was such a big part of what propped up Colin Kaepernick.
It was him through that player. We don't view we view it through Kyle Shanahan, the running game and his scheme, not through how he uses Jimmy Garoppolo, especially as his.
But again, I'm not trying to say they're even. I'm just saying they're close.
I don't think they're close.
Yeah, I think they're close.
I think at that point you would have said that Colin Kaepernick was a top 10 quarterback. I don't view Jimmy G as a top 10 quarterback. Like, I mean, I really just think how big Colin Kaepernick was at that moment.
Yeah, but
they went to the Super Bowl.
Are you saying me or the media? Because to me, I'm not.
I said the NFL. I say the NFL landscape.
Yeah. But how at that point, like Jimmy, I feel like Jimmy G now. We look at him with less value than we did before he injured his knee last year. That what was that? 7 games or 5 games when he got traded.
Yeah, it was like he went on.
Now at that point, we were like, "Whoa, they got them one." We don't even view him the same way right now. And
I think it depends who you talk to, though.
No, I don't think
some people really like him still.
No,
yeah, they do. No, talk to some people.
I feel like more people.
I agree with you.
I won't say have soured on him, but feel like okay, we know where he's leveled off at and what
potentially. But I think this is one of those games where
he has a great game,
right?
But guess what?
It's going to change the narrative.
He can make a lot of people eat crow.
He's not.
Everything's going to happen because he's played one playoff game.
He's going to be in the red light district.
Listen,
Santa Clara.
Listen, man.
Midnight Love.
That might be his spinach.
We spent a lot of time for you caping for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Well, you overrated Colin Kaepernick back then.
Not at that point. He was not overrated at that point.
I know. I'm just saying facetiously, like you're saying. I wasted time on Jimmy. And even if you're saying that
actually Jimmy Garoppolo was overrated, and now we look at what we view him as now than what we did before last season before he got hurt.
I would say this much though. I think all 4 of these teams definitely have a valid shot of winning it all. Obviously, I don't think we look at any of these teams and say like, y'all got lucky, y'all got here. All these teams definitely have a legit shot. When they get there, they can all say something definitively. We won because of this. You have Aaron Rodgers being the Hall of Famer, no doubt. You have San Francisco with the defense in the run game. You have right now the great coaching of Mike Vrabel and Derrick Henry. And then you got, as Ken likes to call them, the future GOAT, Patrick Mahomes.
The Warriors on grass.
And Andy Reid is coaching. I mean, not coaching his butt off, but
Baby GOAT.
Oh, Baby GOAT. With Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid has been able to just...
And he has no Bill Belichick in front of him.
And you got no Bill Belichick yet. And the Patriots are out, which is great to see. So, I don't know. I think it's going to be a very fun championship Sunday.
All right. Give me your championship weekend. What teams are going to face each other? I have the Chiefs versus...
Packers. Right?
Yeah, Chiefs versus.
I think it's Niners Chiefs.
That'd be nice. I think that's the best thing to see. I go for the storyline. I go for what's like, saying that great defense that San Francisco has.
Don't you think the best storyline is Packers Chiefs? Rodgers versus Mahomes.
That'd be nice.
Rematch of Super Bowl I.
Passing the baton.
Right? They played Super Bowl I.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Yes, it would be. No,
on the 100-year celebration.
That'd be pretty cool.
Passing the baton from old goat to baby goat.
Yeah.
I just think the simple fact of just on a football storyline, just on the field, you have the best defense right now in the playoffs going up against the best offense in the playoffs going up right now. Probably the NFL, obviously. That'd be the San Francisco 49ers going against the Kansas City Chiefs. That's from my viewpoint, I think that'd be the best thing. That's what I'm picking for it to be.
Market wise, the NFL wants what? They gotta be Green Bay, San Francisco, or Green Bay, Kansas City, probably.
Green Bay, KC.
You think so? Over San Francisco?
I think San Francisco isn't as big as Green Bay.
Really? Oh, well, yeah. But NFL is weird. I mean, NFL's like that.
And also, it's Pat Mahomes, which that's national. Like, that's just not Pat Mahomes.
Man, but to get San Francisco back at San Francisco is like,
yeah, but they're not as high as Green Bay.
They got 4 Super Bowls in their history,
but they're not as popular as Green Bay.
No, they're not.
Yeah,
they're not.
All right, coming back, we're gonna go up for grabs with Ryan Bukoveski, D and Davis Show.
Yo, what up? It's your man Jay Illa, official Chicago Bears DJ, and you are listening to the D and Davis Show. Turn it up.
D and Davis Show. All right, it is time to go up for grabs with Ryan Bukoveski. Ryan, what you got for us?
All right, Zach LaVine had 30 points, right here. But it was in a loss to the Celtics last night. He's been averaging 30 in the month of January. He's averaging just under 25 a game for the whole season.
Man, I'm telling you,
all right,
my guy is dying in Chicago, man.
Right, so do you think Zach LaVine deserves to get an all-star nod?
Look, I was on a bad team in Orlando, and I led the league in scoring, and I still make the All-Star. I was pretty popular at the time. But what I would say is I think he deserves to be an All-Star this year because of the numbers he's putting up. He's averaging 25 points. Okay. This month, he's averaging 30 points. He's hit game winners this year for this team. I mean, it's because of him they have the wins, a lot of the wins, right, that they do have. I mean, it's in Chicago. Reward this man for his play this year, please.
Well, my first question is I want the Bulls are a disaster. They're a terrible team.
I told you that at the beginning of the season.
I know that they got to fire a lot of people. I don't know if they will or not. But I want to know some of your steps of fixing this team, because you guys know basketball. You know the Bulls. Ooh. What do they need to do? What's like some plans, some steps here?
You know what?
To fix this.
You know what? I said this when I was on the Rush with David Kaplan, NBC Sports Chicago. And I forgot who was on Twitter. I don't think it was Kendrick Perkins. It was somebody. It was somebody, an NBA analyst. And they were talking about the Bulls. And I said on the Rush, I said, listen, man, they need to just go ahead and let Kobe White start. And I know Jason Goff was on with us when we did Overnights at the Score. My reason, but this is my point though. This season is over. It's been over when they did the first tip-off of the season. I was saying at the beginning of the season, this is not a playoff team. They are not good. They're probably going to win maybe low 30s, high 20s. Halfway through the first half of the season, I'm like, man, they might win mid 20 amount of games, right? Listen, I understand that he's young. I understand the points that Jason Goff made. My first step would be, you gotta let him play. You gotta let him go. Because he is the future. Wendell Carter, I don't know if he can stay healthy. Out
6 weeks.
I don't know exactly. I don't know if he can stay healthy. He's been in the league.
Try to trade everybody else?
He's been in the league, what, 2 seasons now?
Wendell is second, yeah.
2 seasons now. Back to back his first 2 seasons. He's out a significant amount of time. Lloyd Marketing. Dude, you're not the guy who you thought he was going to be.
The first of the 7.
He is not the finished Lord. He is a finished squire.
Ooh. That's hard.
He's not who he thought he was going to be.
Did you use that before in the streets and then tell?
No. I just came on top of my head.
That's pretty good.
Should they trade him?
That's what I was going to say.
I don't know. You got, let me finish yet. You got Zach LaVine. He can give you 40-something points, but he's not a number one dude. It would be a great, I roll it back, not great. He would be a damn good number 2 if you had a bona fide star. You have a front office that don't know what the hell they doing, and you have a coach that's like Mr. Magoo out there, don't know what he doing. You let Kobe play, you go ahead and pair him up with Zach LaVine, you start trading and you start firing. You got it. This is not, and then Zach LaVine ass probably won't be around for the foreseeable future as well. You better go ahead and say, oh, we got this young guy.
He's their best asset.
Trade his ass then. You ain't getting nothing. let that young fella rock that you got the number 7 draft pick. Let him go ahead and go out there and play.
No, it's too early.
That's just my point.
To throw Kobe White out there and for him to develop bad habits. And also, we don't even know who's raising him. So, like, you're counting on Jim Boylan to be the person to straighten the kid out when he's out there doing it.
That's a great point to my counterpoint to my point. I agree with that.
I think now it's probably time to look. If the first player, I've always been like, I don't know if Zach needs to be the lead dog, but to be honest with you, it's time to see what you can get for Laurie. Because in a minute, you're not going to be able to get what you thought you can get last year.
I don't think you'll be able to, Ken. I don't think you'll be able to get nothing now.
Could you get a first rounder?
Hell no.
Maybe a contender around the deadline?
What kind of first round? We talking about a half first round?
A contender around the deadline?
Yes. There's still GMs.
So we talking about a low first round pick.
Don't worry. Think about this.
With this front office, what are you going to get?
How many people look at the Bulls as being inept?
Oh, everybody.
All right. So there's still probably people that view Lauri Markkanen as being a talent, but feel like that he hasn't been raised properly. Like, you can still get some. Lauri still
coaching is a big factor.
Lauri still has that keyword potential hanging around him. You only got one more year of that, where people gonna be like, no, this is what he is. Because also people may look at, you know what? When you had Fred knew what to do with Laurie. You brought in Jim Boylan. He's regressed because of Jim Boylan.
Every season he's regressed.
Yeah, but Jim Boylan's basically been a coach for 2 years now.
Yeah.
Fred was gone after what, a month?
12 games or
this
something?
This is what, Laurie's 4th year?
This is Laurie's third.
Third, okay.
He was the first of the 7s.
Yeah, right. This is his third year. So he's been basically under 2 years under Jim Boylan. I'm telling you, there's people out there like, you know what? I can do something with him.
But, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. Find out what you can get with Laurie, because you basically have to redo this. The another thing, too, they got to come to grips. This has to be redone over. This is not your core.
Yeah,
right?
Who's the core?
And I don't think there's core.
Cody.
I wanted
Cody.
Once you knew you couldn't get Ja Morant, I preferred Kobe White over Darius Garland, who was drafted by Cleveland. And when the draft was happening, I said, this fell out just the way the Bulls fall out.
Definitely did.
I'm a Kobe White guy, but Kobe White has a ceiling. Like, Jason Goff said he viewed him as being a Jamal Crawford, Lou Williams type. That's not a core piece.
That's their core.
No, but like, your 6th man is not a core. Like, you're not starting off your team.
He won't be my 6th man. But he gonna be out there playing.
But when you get to where you want to get that, he's bumped down to 6 men. That's his role. You never, like, and it's not as bad as this, but this is like the Bulls finding Felicio and be like, man, we got the 9th guy.
Oh, he ain't no damn Felicio.
But the point that I'm trying to make is, when you're talking about you're building off of role players in a way, and that's not your core.
I'm not saying
they really don't.
They need their Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid.
But see, let me tell you
I agree with that.
I'll tell you this, and I'll get blasted for you. That would be the team I'll be shopping Laurie to.
Phoenix? I mean, if I was in Philadelphia?
I would be trying to get Ben Simmons.
Ooh. I don't think they'll get rid of him, though.
I would want to see.
I would love that.
I would want to see what happens if a team is built around Ben Simmons. You got Zach LaVine there. I would prefer Laurie to be there, but you got to cook with something. Hold on.
You want a pair of Ben Simmons and Zach LaVine?
I want to have Ben Simmons.
Oh, we just out here playing NBA Jam in the arcade now.
Why not?
But no, this is the thing.
Entertain me, Squires.
No. That's not all far off. But the point is this. Ben Simmons, and it may be Ben Simmons. Some of this is Ben Simmons in his head. So let me say that first.
He can't, his hands that he can't shoot.
Not totally forgive him. Yeah, but he's still in the worst situation possible, having a center for a guy that needs to play more like Giannis plays. You're never going to find out what Ben Simmons is with Embiid down low. It's just not going to happen. And it's not good for Embiid for him to come outside.
Yeah.
It's just a terrible duo. They don't fit with one another. They never will fit with one another. They should be looking, because even if you look at what that team is right now, I understand if they want to go this year and find out if they can do it this year after what they did, but they got to come to grips with what they are. And you're not going to get anywhere with those two pieces together. So to me, one of the main guys I will be trying to see, and look, it may be a disaster. I'll be trying to see if I can get my hands on Ben Simmons.
How about Chris Paul? He's making teams good.
I don't think
I would have wanted Chris Paul at the beginning of the season if we would have had somebody who would have been able to come in and be the leader and set someone of a culture. But I think it would have been the same thing. Like, well, he's not the same kind of guy, but I think it would have been the same kind of.
Might have led another mutiny
out there, with like a Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler. That would have been my issue with that. The whole thing is
he's more effective than the way Wade was.
I agree with you, and I think he's more of a leader too.
He was a better coach.
But this is the thing, though. This is the main problem. And we both kind of touched on this. It's just the culture they have set with their front office and their coaching. And with that front office, I don't think anybody worth their salt would come in here thinking like, oh, I'm gonna come in here and change it. Because the top of the organization does not want to change. The only person who will be on the street is going to be Gar Foreman. That's it. And him and the owner's wife. I think it's the owner's wife.
No, this Michael's wife.
Yeah, Michael's wife. They cool with each other. Well, he basically owner. Michael's basically an owner, in a sense. But
the owner's son.
The owner's son. But he's basically
Michael Reinsdorf and Gar Foreman's wife are close.
They're close. But it has to change there. You can't have a front office backing what you see in a head coach like that. You can't have it. You can't have it. So, damn it, I don't know what John Paxson's going to do. I don't know if I know he wants to win. He's a competitive red ass. I get that. But I don't think he knows what he's doing.
Go talk to your old power forward.
I mean, when's the last time they really drafted somebody great?
Brand. It's time. I'll tell you this, and I could be wrong. I think.
What's your question?
When's the last time they drafted somebody great?
Great? Derrick Rose. That was lucky.
And that was luck. Given to him on a platter.
That was luck. I was about to say Joe. I was about to say Joe. But they ran Joe into the ground.
Joe isn't great, but yeah, they
ran him into the ground.
Joe?
Jimmy?
Yeah. And that was a fly.
That was
Tibbs
flyer. More so.
And that was a fly because they didn't think he was going to turn to the offensive. People didn't think he was going to turn to the offensive player that he turned into. They just think, oh, he's a young, aggressive defensive player, but he made himself into what he is right now.
BC did. Brian Crawford.
Yeah, BC. He definitely called it. He called it with him. It was just Jimmy's attitude that kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Dan Davis, the show up for grabs. What's up?
Well, it's a trifecta that very few have achieved. Win the Heisman, perfect season, national championship. As they say in the Bayou, laissez le bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll. LSU sits on the throne of college football.
Let's talk a little football. National championship yesterday. LSU the winner. Is that the best season for a team in college football / best for a player in Joe Burrow?
Yeah. That doesn't mean they're the greatest team.
Do they have an argument?
Maybe, but I mean, that Miami team from the early aughts, I mean, when you look at how many pros they have on it, but that doesn't necessarily dictate how great they are as a cohesive team.
And college.
But still, if you look at, I bet you if you put that team, only problem with that team is really quarterback. Because what was it? Dorsey was.
Yeah, I think it was Ken Dorsey.
Ken Dorsey was the
2001 Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah,
greatest of all time.
I don't. With this, I'll say this much: with this offense that they have these days, they probably could get that team back then. Though, but Joe Burrow, you can arguably say, has had the best season in college football history, and also I'll say it because of this. Someone like Tim Tebow had a great year too, but I don't think that necessarily it doesn't tell you what he can do in the pros. This was in a pro style offense. This translates. So I'm also looking at it outside of in the domain of college football. How does this look on Sunday? I think he had one of the greatest years for someone where you see like this game translate to the next level.
I don't think Tebow had that arm flash either.
No, he didn't, but he was just everything.
He was a fullback.
Yeah, he was everything else. But the year that he had, it was God.
He made some great throws in his career, but Joe Burrow.
I used to make fun of him. People thought he was good. I was like, he's a fullback playing quarterback, right?
I would say speaking of Joe Burrow though, it does matter where he lands. He's going to go to Cincinnati, and it matters a lot who your coach is. And if Cincinnati doesn't get there, together.
Well, we don't know how Zach Taylor is.
No, we don't. But we just got to. But it matters though. It matters who your head coach is when it comes to the NFL because you can get that young man killed, literally. So I think his skill set will translate over. I think it's definitely going to do that. I don't know. He's not going to put up no 50-something touchdowns. He might, for his rookie year, I wouldn't surprise me he put up like 20-something.
But is this... So you're the Hurricanes fan. So
yes,
this LSU team isn't as good as that?
No.
But
not at all.
Definitively no?
That team could beat LSU, though.
No.
You mean it could beat Miami?
That defense year, plus their running game. Dude, they had like so many NFL players on that team. It was. You knew watching that team, their names then and there, like, oh yeah, they're going to be great in the NFL.
They weren't playing offenses like.
No, they wasn't. It's different. It's different times. It's different times.
That's the problem. Yeah, they had guys on there, and the thing is this too. Real quick, on Joe Burrow, I think last night's game showed a lot. There was a lot of blowouts for LSU this year.
Yeah.
He faced a uphill battle, and he rose to the occasion. Because in the first quarter, it was like
and showed it all.
Yeah, it was like Joe, and made it hurt his ribs, and kept out like
he was hurt.
That showed a lot that he's not a front runner.
He showed leadership, toughness, accuracy, his legs with mobility,
he was able
pocket
to go,
presence.
He was able to go up against people who I think a lot of people will still say that Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback in the nation.
Oh, nobody. Yeah. Well, now he has the best potential of anybody that's in college.
Well, that's the conversation. If
Burrow
Lawrence was eligible, would he be number one to the
Absolutely.
Bengals over Burrow?
Absolutely. It'll be number one.
I would really have to consider Burrow.
It wouldn't be
Really?
It wouldn't be absolute. Wow. Not with what Burrow.
Trevor Lawrence's speed, his size, his accuracy.
But what did Burrow not show that Lawrence has done?
No. They would get down now into what type of system you like and who you prefer. That's
my point about coaching and stuff like that.
But no, I'm saying there's no schism between them with the year that Joe Burrow had. That's just like saying,
but we've seen.
If Tua, think about it. If Tua had a great year, Tua would be in the conversation. It's not. Yes, the best prospect from last year has been Trevor Lawrence. But if Trevor Lawrence came out in this draft, it would be like, and it's going to sound crazy, it would be similar, and I think both of these players have been better. It'd be similar to Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf, to where some people thought
I like that.
Ryan Leaf could be better, especially arm talent-wise, than Peyton Manning. Like, no, there's not there's not a clear definition. He had the best year of any college quarterback ever.
Trevor Lawrence.
I agree with that.
Just lost it. Damn.
Those words can't even come out of your mouth.
Lies burning your chest.
Excuse me. Trevor Lawrence just lost his first game in college. National championship.
To Joe Burrow.
Dude, I'm telling y'all, man.
You know how many guys that you know how many guys go because of the team around them on runs similar? We could say,
but it ain't because like, oh my God, look at this team that Trevor Lawrence just happened to be on.
Trevor Lawrence didn't have a good year for half of the season. He didn't have a good year for half of the season.
Right.
So that was on weak conference and the rest of that team. Like, you acting like he carrying them. Like, for instance, LSU doesn't even have the defense that Clemson has. Joe Burrow had to lift a lot more weight than what Trevor Lawrence had to do. Like, he has ETN behind him. ETN is freaky as hell.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Like,
he is.
I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence doesn't have all the stuff, but a great thing that I noticed on ESPN today, and they were talking about it, and I think it was Ryan Clark, that you saw that Deshaun Watson had it. Trevor Lawrence has all the measurables, but outside of that game against Alabama last year, we haven't seen it again.
Okay.
I like Joe. I like Joe Burrow.
I like Joe Burrow too. I think it's definitely
Stop that slander.
I think
you chose Lawrence.
I like Trevor Lawrence better. That's all.
He might have a better career though because he's not going to Cincinnati.
Thanks.
Well, we got to see who stinks this upcoming year.
Yeah.
Nobody stinks like Cincy. He mess around and be a Raider and Gruden to have him, and Gruden are going to pimp him out proper. Especially in Las Vegas.
Ooh, Burrow would like that.
Some ruby red lipstick on and some heels.
Jeez,
make that money.
My goodness.
Shake it, baby, shake it.
Sir. You talking about Trevor, right?
Yeah.
That long hair.
That long hair and that Rain Pryor jawline.
No, I think Oakland gonna be a lot better. Not gonna be a lot better, but they gonna be better. They gonna be too good not to draft him.
He may trade a draft pick this year just so he can be back in that mix next year.
That's true. That is true.
I would always be like, you know what? I'm trying to get back in there.
I still don't count out the Raiders going after Tom Brady.
Yeah,
don't count that
That's
out.
possible.
They don't have. I don't think they have enough.
But you got to get rid of Derek Carr.
Well, that's what we were saying. Derek Carr.
Well, he has a contract that's not just easy. I think.
How many years he left on a contract?
One, right?
I think a couple.
I think it's one.
After this year?
This year coming up.
This year coming up.
He's one.
They only got 1 year left.
He doesn't have.
They're talking about getting rid of his ass during the draft.
Yeah, I think they could still have dead money on the cap, but I don't think he doesn't have any more guaranteed money left on that deal.
Okay.
Major League Baseball has handed down an unprecedented punishment to the Astros for stealing signs during the 2017 and 2018 seasons. The league suspended both the manager, AJ Hinch, as well as the team's general manager for all of the 2020 season, and the Astros have since fired both of them. The team was also fined $5 million and lost their first and second round picks for the next 2 drafts.
Speaking of dirty, rotten play, cheating, scandal, baseball.
You cheaters.
They came down with the fist, with the hammer, I should say, actually, on the Astros. They will not have a first-round pick this year or next. Second-round pick this year or next. $5 million, the highest that baseball can find somebody.
That's it?
Yeah, it's the highest.
It's $5 million.
It's capped.
It's nothing.
The GM, head coach, suspended for a year, and then they were fired. What'd you guys think of the punishment so far handed down?
I was watching when Crane was on MLB Network. I thought he was right out front as an owner. I knew AJ Hint and Jeff Lunau were out. Once they said they were getting the out, like, they're not keeping them.
Yeah.
Like, how? Like,
why?
Why? How are you going to bring those people back into the fold, let alone... One, you run a lot of risks of something else happening as far as tampering, especially like someone like Jeff Lunau. Like, if his second in command is in charge, he's really not going to have any conversations with this guy whatsoever. It's just best to cut bait. We saw Alex Cora come out. He's been fired by the Red Sox. I thought it was fine. A lot of people saying they could have went after their international money. That may have been something that they should have gone after. They left that alone. A lot of people have complained that those draft picks are going to be later in the rounds because
they're so good.
But some people said, well, if they're not cheating, they may not really be as good. I don't know if it was Pagoda or who. I think I saw it on ESPN. They have them winning 97 games this upcoming season. So their streak of 3 straight years of 100 will end. To me, it was fine. I mean, because baseball. This is the thing about this.
Were you upset that none of the players got anything?
No. I wasn't, because I get what they're saying. No, you know even more why I wasn't upset that the players weren't. I hate how usually the players get dinged and management gets off usually. When it's supposed to be the higher ups take more responsibility because you are the higher ups. So if they would have done something with the players, I wouldn't have been upset. But to me, you got to get the guy. If AJ Hinch didn't have anything to do with it, he let Joey Cora and Carlos Beltran really run this, but he was afraid of losing the locker room like he had done in his past stops. It's on him, and the same goes for Jeff Lunau. Like, you guys had to come in there and be like, hey, chill this out. It's getting too rare. As soon as you hear trash cans getting hit and you see Danny Farquhar, like, hey, come here. Something's going on over there.
You saying the ownership, right?
Yeah, I'm saying ownership and AJ.
Well, AJ said he knew it was player driven. He just didn't do anything about it.
Well, that's.
I'm with you.
Yeah, you're not doing your job. You're not.
Who's the manager?
Exactly. Like, if you're saying that they cheating, I'm just letting them.
Who's gonna get the axe?
Again,
are they gonna get rid of a team?
If morally you don't care, take care of yourself. Then, if morally it doesn't matter. So I wasn't that upset.
I think MLB needs to institute some type of a death penalty for a team.
What?
Listen, I think they actually kind of got off kind of light. The organization.
Should they vacate the title?
Yes, I think so, personally. This is why. Because you have, it's clear as day, even looking at the scores of the games, what was happening.
You.
On the road, they might have won or lost by a run or two. Literally, when they got home, they run by 4 or 5 runs easily. They won by 4 or 5 runs easily, right?
How do we know that home cooking doesn't help with that?
Nah, that ain't no home.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you, but if they won by 1 on the road, it stands to reason that they're going to win by more than 1 at home.
Not like that.
I'm not saying 4, but still, like,
not like
now
that.
We're trying to cook up what the
No, I ain't cooking up nothing, because when you implementing technology, actual equipment at home, which is generating these wide home run, wide margins of victories at home. And also, too, look at the teams that they were beating and the pitchers that they were beating. All of a sudden, the Dodgers starting lineup is
you Darvish.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Are you official?
Hold on.
You Darvish, baby.
So,
hold on. Emancipated.
Somebody was doing it.
Emancipated.
Listen to how.
Preach, D.
Just look at what was happening. Also, too, you look at the Yankees. I know they're crying foul, but they beat them 2 years in a row.
Well, people believe the Yankees have this issue too. They have the camera room right outside the dugout. The Yankees have been doing shenanigans also. What we've seen is the great teams cheat greatly.
You go to Boston. We go to Boston with the Red Sox. Also,
follow Alex Cora.
Look at New England.
How are you gonna the Patriots? How are you gonna depth the team?
But this is my thing though. As Ryan just said, this was player driven.
Okay.
They went to the manager, then went to the general manager who didn't do anything. You can't have this. You can't have a team. It's one thing to steal signs. You can't have a team using technology and clear as day. You know what's going on. It's so damn bad that the bench coach went to another team and Joey Cora ass got fired. Think about that. Something that happened on another
team.
You need to suspend players. You need to suspend starting players that was on that team. You need to, as he already did, you fired the head coach. You fired the GM. The owner fired him. The owner fired him. No. But this is my thing. Even with the ownership, because
he said
they're replaceable.
He said he didn't.
That's BS. He has a banner up in the rafters for the team that he owned.
No, because we got to stick to the reports. The reports are that
Come on, we ain't stupid now, y'all.
No, but I think the MLB I think Manfred did a terrific job in this.
You need a death penalty for this kind of thing.
Let's just wait. We're talking about two different things.
Go ahead.
We're talking about the facts that of what is coming out from the reports. The facts that have come out is that AJ Hinch, who didn't lead it, and Jeff Lunau, who didn't lead. These weren't guys that's like, yeah, do that. We like when you do that. They were just like, well, just let them do it. All right. But from what Crane did not know this. Now, when things started to come out, just like when they asked AJ Hint earlier this year about it, and he said he laughed and was like, it's BS. I can understand us now saying when the reports came out, Crane knew. But when it was happening, Crane, from what we've known from MLB's investigation, did not know. I'm just bringing that point out of while it was going on.
That's all I'm saying. But as we also learned in the reports, later on, he figured it out. Or later on, he knew.
No, they lied to him.
He knew. Oh, they lied.
So that's another reason why he was upset. They lied to him about it.
Okay, fine. But still, he has a championship in the banners.
In the rafters.
In the rafters. You have a championship up in the rafters.
Only one.
You have teams. Only one. But you have a core of that team was still put together and still on that team right now. Core of the players are still on that team right now.
I wouldn't be mad if they suspend. I don't get how they need give them a death. Like
no. I'm talking. Hold on. I ain't finished yet.
Mm-hmm.
I do think based off that team, the core they have right now, if they went back and said, okay, the guys that was on that team, and as we know, this was player driven, you all are going to be suspended about 20-something games.
No, I wouldn't be upset.
20, 25 games, 30 games, something like that. Because you suspend a core of that team, that next season, it's going to be terrible.
So now you're punishing the fans.
I am punishing the fans because you know what? Unfortunately, your team down here, your man's down here, he out there doing shenanigan stuff.
I paid all this money for these tickets, man.
It's too bad, so sad.
Since they winning, they locked us in.
But you know what? Hey.
You're not gonna do
but also,
that.
I ain't finished it.
MLB's not going to do that to paying customers.
I know they ain't going to do that to paying customers. But you have draft picks. You got to get 2 years. No, homeboy. You got to get more than that. International money. You got to come up off of that. This is something that we have. As to your point, Ken, a lot of teams do a lot of stuff and they just got caught. But unfortunately, you know what happens? Your ass got caught. You got to get popped. You can't have this. You can't have video technology doing something like this and you can clearly see the advantage of it. You can't have that, y'all. You can't have it. You got to drop a hammer, a hard hammer on that franchise.
I'm going to tell you this.
They straight up cheated.
When the GM and the head manager lose their job, you can best believe it's not going to be another manager risking his job for this. Like,
I hope not.
But look, with Alex Cora,
not to this extent. But you know, baseball. But you know, baseball players, baseball managers, they cheat all the time.
But
if you ain't cheating, they trying.
That's my problem, though. When so why are we acting so crazy now if it's the nature of baseball to cheat? I don't think
this extent.
No. And I get when you keep saying technology. I don't think these are the only teams that use technology to cheat. I just think they're very good at it, and some teams aren't as crafty at it. So that's one thing. But baseball has a history, and we'll get in that in our last segment, of cheating, and they championed it. All right. So now we're all upset when it's like, well, it kind of got out of hand. And I'm not saying it didn't, but I'm still saying, like, for instance, going along with what you're saying. You're saying that a fan, basically the Astros, who, let's not forget, were in the Sox situation 5 years ago where they were notoriously terrible for about 6 or 7 years, right? You're going to throw them all the way back to that? Man, you're going to mess up the market. Like, that's just not capitalism. I don't see it taking place. I'm with you. If you want to give those players 20 games, I'm fine. If you want to kill this season for the Astros, fine. Vacating the title does little because the Dodgers aren't going to hold a championship rally for that.
Damn straight.
It's not going to. So you can do it, but it's just like USC's championship that when Reggie Bush took the money. It's just kind of like, dude, you may as well just let them have that because the memories are still there. You can never take the memories.
Yeah,
back.
but you also can hear. Yeah. You can also hear that bang of that bat against that drum.
But
against that garbage can. You can hear it.
But even with this, even if let's just say what you said, 20 games, dog. Players get hit for 50 and 80 games for taking roids, and people still take roids. I think that even though they should have hit the players up, hitting up the front office and the managers, even though we know these coaches, Alex Cora may not, and I think some of that's hate, are going to get another a bite at the apple. That's going to send fear into a lot of people that's in charge on not letting this happen again.
The Black Sox scandal back in 1919 with Chicago White Sox, they purposely.
That's in the second.
Okay, yeah.
Second.
Okay.
That's big in the last second.
Okay, cool. I was going to say 80 of the players were permanently banned.
Yeah, but again, that's gambling. This is not gambling.
It's straight cheating.
Yeah, don't compare this.
No.
We're talking about baseball cheats. Gambling it cuts to the fabric of every sport. If you gamble, it's WWE. As soon as you say the outcome is manipulated, it's not real. Again, I don't want to get into. I want to get into that in the next segment.
But also feel
something burns my backside.
Listen, I think the players should have. I think the core players should have been suspended.
I'm fine with that.
I think they should have had more draft picks taken. I think their international money should have been lowered.
Yeah, at least for.
I'm happy that the GM and the head coach are fired. And honestly. They should probably. It should probably be they shouldn't be able to be hired for some time too. Maybe like
they got a year. They can be hired.
After the suspension,
it's a year.
Oh no, I'm talking about after that.
Then it's not. Then you have to spend them more.
That's what I'm talking about. They should be like you can't.
But you mean they should extend the suspension?
Yes. There you go. They should extend their suspension for at least about 2 or 3 seasons. You got to send a message. You can't come over here and cheat within our club.
I think they sent a message.
All right.
Again, I'm not arguing over could it have been harder, but I do think
I'm saying it could have been harder.
Up their belts, and no one's going to think about it. The Red Sox are done. Whatever they are now, if you thought Jerry Cora was special and that, okay, the pitching was bad, we know they're trying to get back under the cap, quote unquote, the luxury tax in baseball this year, so they're not spending money. They've been trying to move David Price to get back under there, the threshold. But I think we still thought Alex Cora was a special manager. That special manager's gone. Even if they wanted to keep him, I think he's getting 2 years at least. I don't think he's just getting 1 year. I think they're going to compound.
By all reports, he's supposed to get more than AJ Hinch.
That's what it's about. I think especially when he wasn't a player, he was part of the coaching team, the coaching
He was
staff.
a big part of it.
And again, was. It seems like the biggest part in this. He was the biggest part. So yeah, and then he took it to another team and won a World Series with it.
But even though he was a bench coach, I think the manager should get something higher than that because you are the leader of the team.
But think about it. He went and did it as a manager.
As a manager.
Yeah, I know.
So then he should get longer than AJ Hinch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What you're saying? I'm with what you're saying is AJ Hinch should have got 2 years.
Yeah.
He should get 3.
Yes.
AJ Hinch getting 1 year. I think Alex Cora, I keep saying Joe. And also, let's not forget his brother was a White Sox player and on the White Sox coaching staff. Ozzie Guillen could have been doing this far we know back then and been the first perpetrator. I'm joking. But yeah.
As you throw it out there though.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I really want to talk a little bit more in depth about this. And D struck a chord when he brought up the Black Sox and Shoeless Joe Jackson and the players from that period. And some of the stuff that's been going on since this discussion is taking place, because you have truthers of a certain person popping out, and I'm ready to put fire to their asses. D and Davis Show.
What's up, Chicago? This is Chris Sosa from Red Eye, and you're listening to the D and Davis Show.
D and Davis, last segment.
Last one.
So listen, one of the things that, getting back to the baseball suspension of A.J. Hinch, Jeff Lunau, and firing of those two, and Alex Cora being fired from the cheating scandal that took place in Houston, and then Alex Cora took with him to Boston for when they won the World Series in 2018. You start to hear people start to say that this is as bad as gambling on the sport, and basically, again, why isn't Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame? And it agitates the living hell out of me.
Why?
Because baseball has had, we've heard from Cashfish Hunter, we've heard from Willie Mays taking the greenies. We watched baseball exploit the home run race in '98 with Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa.
Shake the long balls.
Yes, baseball has always had cheating in it, and at times they've taken advantage of it. They didn't stop greenies. They knew those players, some greenies over there, or that coffee over there is juiced up. You get that coffee or whatever. Baseball has allowed this. Baseball didn't have rules against steroids when it was illegal in the country. All right, so when people say, so one thing that people have thrown in is the steroid users. Well, the steroid guys, but this is the thing. A guy using steroids, even though it's selfish, is trying to help his team win every time. Now, you could say when he stops taking them, damn, dude, you don't care about the team anymore. Even though he's trying to, Brady Anderson, increase his pay, due to that, it's going to help the team because he's playing better.
Okay.
All right. Someone stealing signs, again, is trying to help their team. Even though they're stealing, it's not right. They're still trying to help their team doing better. Someone gambling on their team is not helping their team, and it's also to the detriment of their team. I'll give you some examples. Let's say because I have money on this baseball game, I extend my bullpen or I extend my starter because I'm trying to make sure I win. And therefore, for the upcoming games, that starter or that bullpen arm is taxed and I can't implement them. That's one way you're hurting your team.
That's if you're betting on your team to win, though.
Well, that's what Pete Rose did. So another thing, anytime that Pete Rose didn't bet on his team, he was telling his bookie his team was going to lose. So right then, you're messing up the validity and the honor, the baseball in general. As far as the baseball being something that's on the up and up, you're fracturing that commitment to the fans. It's nothing like using steroids and cheating. When you gamble, you're making it into a soap opera or wrestling. Once you start to say what's happening on the field may not be happening, you're in trouble. That's why the NBA with the Donaghy thing made sure it was him and got rid of it.
Yeah.
Because the last thing they wanted was us to find out that there were more refs doing it. Because once you start to do that, going back to people always saying with basketball's fixed, the refs are doing this. Going back to the Black Sox scandal, the Black Sox, Kennesaw Landis and his racist self came in there, and because he wanted to sit there and keep baseball on the up and up and let friends know it's what you believe isn't true, he banned them. When people say that about Pete Rose, let me ask you this. Is Shoeless Joe Jackson in the Hall of Fame? And he's dead. Nope. I don't care if Pete Rose died. I'm not trying to be mean or whatever. With grown people, there are ramifications to your actions. Sometimes and it's not like Pete Rose isn't wealthy. It's not like Pete Rose isn't living a good life. No, Pete Rose
still is an analyst for baseball.
Thank you, Pete. Listen, they've given him different. They've thrown different They've thrown different lassos to bring him back in. He messed that up. They were. They were trying to bring him back, and he messed that up again. So I don't feel sorry for him. But once you start to say it's okay to gamble on the spot, we saw it with Shaw, the defensive back with the Cardinals, in July, that was sitting there gambling on football. And what did Roger Goodell says? Once you mess with the trust of the fan base by gambling on this, we cannot have that. You can't have it. It is not like steroids. It is not like what A.J. Hinch and Jeff Lunau did. That crosses the bare line of what your sports is paying customers. So once I hear that, it's like, get that BS out of here.
I agree with you on that one. I don't think it's the same. I think it's more so people are reacting in the moment. people are reacting in the moment. They see something like this. They could be not Astro fans. They could be fans of the teams that they've beaten. They could be Dodgers fans. They could be Yankees fans, whatever the case may be. As I said before in the last segment, I think the punishment could have been a lot harsher to them. But no, it's not steroids. It's definitely not steroids because look, and I brought the fact of like, you know what I'm saying, although the owner was lied to, those owners' eyes was lying to them back in the 90s. When it was hitting all the 80s and 90s. When
were they
lying
lying or they didn't care? Because remember,
well, they didn't care. That's
the lockout caused the turnstiles to slow down.
Exactly.
98 brought baseball back.
Yes.
Plus,
all the steroids.
I don't even know if people in media and fans really were paying attention to what was going on.
I remember still to this day, I was having a conversation about it. Me and my father were talking because we were enthralled in 98. Yeah. And I remember us talking, and when they found the Andrew and McGuire's locker, and I said, see, I told you he's roiding up. Because I said, why he has a masking agent in his locker? It common sense told you, but until a guy that nobody liked, who wasn't getting any balls pitched to him, broke that record, that's when the crackdown came. Once Bonds did it, and people was like, oh, hell to the no, it's a rap once Bonds did it.
My mother was the one who, I mean, because like I said, everybody was enthralled with, like, oh my God, look at all these home runs. You got MLB video games, even a home run derby in the video games. Everybody loved it. My mother kind of pulled me to the side, like, listen, you see that? Mm-hmm. You ain't supposed to look like that. Mm-mm. They taking steroids.
Yes.
I was like, you think so?
Hell
like,
yeah.
Yes.
Same thing else you said about, look at McGuire. Yeah. I mean, look at Sammy from where he was when he was a 30-30 guy. But look at like Mac. Look at Mac. Like it was clear. Like once it really hit you, and it was like, wait, why is this happening? You had Luis Gonzalez, even though it seems like perhaps Junior wasn't. Junior was in that race for a period of time too, because that was the year he got traded to Cincy. Even it was a year before. During that year, he was traded to Cincy.
98.
Yeah, during that year, he was traded to Cincy. But still, again, to me, when people are bringing Pete Rose into the situation, it's like stop at the gate.
Nah, Pete had his chance, and Pete screwed that up. Nah, it's not the same. I know people want to still kind of, get on people because of steroids, and it's basically because of the hate of Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds is definitely with that. I personally think that the big time steroid users that were not big time. Well, yeah, he was a big time steroid user, but the ones that was like bona fide Hall of Famers even before that, and you can't listen.
Clemens. No, I'm wrong. He was traded in 2000. Okay, but he was in that race that year in 2000. Because remember, Sammy had 3 years of doing it. He was in that race in 2000.
Yeah, it's just not the same.
Yeah,
it's just not.
Griffey was traded in February 2000. February 10th.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just not. I mean, listen, everybody was enthralled with it, but I mean, I think that's what I was saying. The guys like Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, they should have asterisks next to their name. They should be in the Hall of Fame.
Wouldn't be mad
because as what I was trying to say originally when I started talking about with my point, the owners made so much money off of steroids.
Yes.
They knew it. Mm-hmm. They see these cats coming in one off season they gained about 30 pounds of muscle. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, Bud Selig shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
He should not. He should not be in the Hall of Fame.
He should be out with them.
He presided over the steroid era, and they turned up. And matter of fact,
he gives the Matumbo wave to Barry Bonds.
And then how he acts towards Bonds.
Wait, hold on. When was he the owner of the Brewers?
Before he was commissioner.
But what years was it? Was it in the 90s?
Well, his family owned the Brewers.
Even before then?
So early 90s, he gave up the team, I believe. Because he took over after Faye Vincent.
Yeah.
So I think like 93 to 94, perhaps.
Okay, so right around that time. He should not be in the Hall of Fame.
He took the office as the 9th commissioner of baseball on July 9th, 1990. Oh, wait, no. He was acting September 7th, 1992 to 98, and then it was official in office 98 to 2015.
There you go. Come on, man. Come on. Y'all made so much money off these dudes. And then, like I know the Ricketts didn't own the Cubs back then. But how much money?
His family still owned the Brewers while he was.
I know. You're talking about Bud Selig.
So let's be clear, he's still benefited.
Right, he did. But I'm looking at Sammy Sosa, the way he's treated by the Cubs ownership right now with the Ricketts. Mm-hmm. Oh, he had to come out and apologize. Apologize for what? Sammy Sosa basically put then Black Sammy Sosa basically put the Cubs franchise on his back when he ran out there in the outfield, pointing to the outfielders, fans, and everybody cheering. You out there proposing to your wife, out there watching him hitting all these home runs. You love him then. You love him then.
Come on, man.
No, it ain't the same.
You know what that's about.
It ain't the same. Yeah. Like I said before, I think a lot of people do really want to go back to the whole steroid thing, and the first person they bring up is Barry Bonds, not Mark McGwire.
And the car still brought Mark McGwire back.
Sure did. He was coaching for him, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. So just to let you know.
I think Mark's still coaching.
Is he?
Yeah, he's not coaching with them, I don't think.
No, I think he's with the Dodgers, actually.
And gave that kind of almost half-ass apology. The only one that actually came out and said something was up. Well, no, Giambi didn't.
Giambi didn't do a full.
No, he didn't. No, he did a full.
MVP back to.
Was it Andy Pettitte? Did Andy Pettitte come out and apologize?
No, he came out with a half-ass apology. Said he only did it for rehab.
Okay, so nobody came out and apologized.
No one's been clear with. I did this. I got paid. It was what was going on right then. I apologize, but hey, that's what was going on in the league right then. That's just all what people are asking for. Mind you, I don't even care as much. I do think, and I know people can say that. It's funny. I was watching. I forget who the guy was watching MLB Network, and he was saying, "How do we decide?" And I'm like, I get your point. And how do we decide? But given what you said, there's some guys we knew were Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
So I don't care if some of these other guys they unfairly aren't let into the Hall. I know Clemens, I know Bonds were Hall of Famers.
Yes.
All right.
Listen, you had a racist era. You had the dead ball era. And you
Greenies.
had the Greenies. And you had the steroid era. It is what it is, man. This one sport, it is what it is. It just happens. It just happens. But to kind of equate this, no, man, listen, like I said before, I think the Astros in some way, shape, or form, in my personal opinion, should have got somewhat like a kind of a death penalty. You can't have that. We have people with technology, but you can't equate those two. So what was people saying on the airways around the city, though, Cam? You mentioned that earlier.
I heard that Alex Cora should get 5 years, if not a lifetime ban.
Ooh.
Which is like, really, y'all.
That's the next manager of the White Sox.
Y'all gonna put it all on? I'm kind of going for AJ Hinch.
Oh, smart.
Y'all gonna put it all on Alex Cora.
Yeah, what about AJ Hinch?
You gonna Barry Bonds him?
Yeah.
That's what I said. I would prefer AJ Hinch. But you gonna
Alex Cora cheats too much wherever he goes. AJ just likes cheating in Houston.
Right?
He takes it everywhere.
So that's then again of the whole Pete Rose discussion and the steroid discussion. Anytime some cheaters, everyone who wants their cheaters to be the punishment to be more lenient pops up. Anytime there's some cheating, right? Hey, I got my guy. He was cheating. I want to talk about that.
Throw the book at him. Wait, he's our guy. Wait a minute.
Come on, dude.
Slow down on that book.
Listen, you can't have gambling in your sport. You cannot be complicit with it. You have to crack down on it, because once you say that's all right,
that's a real slippery slope.
Yeah, that's a real slippery slope.
That's like games have to really be vacated.
Yeah, so
even if you know what pitch is coming, doesn't mean you're going to hit it.
Dude, you can't. So it's unfortunately, and listen, he's the all-time hit king. We clearly know on what he did.
He'll get in once he's dead, probably.
I don't know.
When he can't, when they can rewrite his narrative,
and he can't got some bylaw. You never put Pete Rose in.
I don't listen.
Maybe.
To be honest with you, because then it'd be cheap, because they'll put Shoeless Joe in. I think you did it to Shoeless Joe. Keep to standard. No, he does. He did. He crossed the line, and the thing is, we act like he wasn't doing it as a play. Oh yeah, when Pete Rose became a manager, that's when he decided. Now I'm a gamble.
I'm a gamble now.
Question: do you think it's out of the realm of possibility that the fallout list could still be going, and possibly some players on that team can be suspended?
No, it sounds like they are not.
They've decided,
because they didn't even want to suspend.
Also, they don't want to. They don't want to rescind the union.
They don't want to suspend Carlos Beltran.
Yeah, because he was a player then.
Oh, that's right. Because he's a manager of the Mets now.
Yeah,
right? Well, that's his punishment.
He was big in it. He was big in it. But so no, they're not going after the players.
Yeah, Alex Cora is like document saying like how good of a sign stealer Carlos Beltran is or something.
Facts. This dude is king sign stealer.
He's got the eye.
I thought I could still sign.
Was that his first ring?
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, all tainted.
Damn.
All tainted.
Hey, he let it.
Yeah, that's what you get. Now when people call the question what you did it. You did it. So
this is gonna dog him or follow him. Maybe not for the season. I don't know. I mean, Americans' attention span is like a gnat.
It's baseball.
For Beltran? Once they're buried in last place, no one will care. They'll say, what's cheating doing for them?
Wow. Okay. Hey, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at D and Davis Show. Once again, it's at D and Davis Show. Instagram and Twitter, Facebook.com/D and Davis Show. iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Music, Stitcher, the TuneIn app, or on Anchor, which kicks you over to Spotify, YouTube as well, and also a whole host of other podcast platforms. I'm on Twitter at DeMons1, Ken's on Twitter at That's Davis, and Ryan's on Twitter at Ryan B. Ski, and IG, Ryan B. Ski 1.
We always appreciate you spending some time with us and talking. Definitely let us know through social media your thoughts on today's conversations.
Yes.
There will not be a flip this weekend.
No.
We will be back with Dan Davis' show next week and a flip next weekend. So
yes.
Definitely until then, don't do anything stupid before you hear from us.
Keep your hands to yourself.